We're gradually getting to the end of the show. It's the month. It's the way they looked at me like, huh? Well, we're gradually getting to the end of the month. It's the 25th day. In a few days, a lot of you are going to be getting alerts. Some people will be getting alarms, depending on the weight of the alert you're getting. When it's still heavy, it's an alarm.
Depending if you're earning wages, salaries, emoluments. Depending on what you earn.
Okay. There's one more that's missing.
Which one?
Stipend.
Stipend
is the last one.
Oh, that's very, very true.
Emolument says more English.
So we hope that you started to make plans for your salaries, wages, emoluments, and stipends, because they're going to start coming in very shortly. And for organizations, we know that the end of the year is coming. People are already making plans for the end of the year gifts, 13th month salary. So it's really generally a good time. Interestingly, I don't know if our stories are as quote unquote good as the times that
we have the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Well, it makes a all,
but
to be honest.
In the spirit of emolument and whether it's wages, I also want to say it applies to. I remember one time some guy came down from a bus and he said he got to his bus stop, instead of him to say, "Oh wow," he said, "Can I alight?"
Not really highlights.
They said that English is too big for your means of transportation. And if you're on an airplane, you can alight, or you're inside down. Then that it also applies to your place of residence. If you live in Lekki, it's place of residence. If you live in VI, it's your abode. But if you live in a Joko, like somebody that I know, it's where do you put up?
I really think this is breakfast.
Where are you putting up?
Breakfast Comedy Central. That's the comedian of the show. And in case you're just watching, this is Gbenga Borowa, the comedian of the show. I am Olive Emodi, the most serious person of the show.
The legal luminary.
The legal luminary. And this is Joe Hansen.
You know, in primary school, you say cancel. Okay, let's start.
So let's
official welcoming.
Official welcoming. All right. Yeah. Good morning. You're welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. And we hope that you can engage with us on YouTube. We want to hear your thoughts on every of the stories that we'll be treating this morning. My name is Olive Emodi. We're streaming live on YouTube. Search for News Central TV Live to find us.
And I'm Gbenga Borowa. Welcome to Breakfast Central, the best place to start your day on a Tuesday. We have a lot in store for you. As always, we bring you insightful analysis and discussions of the big stories that matter. I am Gbenga Borowa.
And I'm Joe Hansen, welcoming you to Breakfast Central on a Tuesday morning. It feels really good to be here, and we're going to start off with what we know how to do best, bringing you the stories that you may have missed, especially from the night up until this morning. So the very first story on our wake-up conversation will be that if you're one of those who's looking forward to
Banga,
like we used to say when we were small,
Banga,
we used to hear them say they don't throw knockout.
Knockout was the posh version, was Banga. Once your Popo is Banga.
No, for me it was always fireworks.
Pyrotechnics. You should have called it pyrotechnics.
Back again to emoluments, stipends.
They have called it pyrotechnics now.
So now there's fireworks, Banga, and knockout.
Okay. And there's Inolong Cooking Junior.
I love that one. Bisco.
Bisco.
That's Bisco now that you hold it.
Bisco.
Yes, one of my favorites.
Yeah, but the light won't burn you.
It won't burn you. Yes, Bisco.
Cooking Junior. The light of God doesn't burn.
Gbenga, you sound more like his type.
I knew it through research.
You sound more like his
not my lived experience. My lived experience is pyrotechnics and fireworks.
Okay, with Christmas barely 2 weeks away, the police in Imo and Plateau State have rolled out yet another ban on fireworks. And honestly, it's hard not to ask the obvious questions. Every year, this announcement comes just when everyone has finished stocking up. Importers have brought in their goods, traders have invested their savings, and families are already planning their celebrations. The police say it's about security, which everyone understands, right? But the thing always feels off for some people. And let's be honest, fireworks still find their way into the market. So the ban often just sounds stronger on paper than in real life. So here we are again, watching the same cycle play out. Last-minute restrictions, worry traders, confused residents, and you can't help but wonder what the real impact will be this time around and whether enforcement will be any different from previous years. You can see them putting out there saying that
states and Plateau State.
And it's not just them, there are other states who before now had banned the sale of fireworks.
One of the reasons why they do it, and the fireworks you have these days, they're quite loud, so you can't really differentiate the sound of fireworks and a gun or gunshots. So it would lead to heightened anxiety. But like Olive said, they always have a way of, and look, it's a periodic business. There are people that trade in this. People have already imported, made orders. So what are you going to do about it? And maybe you can excuse fireworks for Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, and after that. But I really don't see the excitement.
Honestly, you see
fireworks that don't have this pyrotechnic displays in the skies. You are just making them. You could as well just hit something, a pan, and make a loud noise.
But I understand.
When we're kids, I mean, we go excited.
Yes, we did. But if we're being honest, I can understand why the police would ban that. In Plateau State, for example, they've faced high levels of insecurity in the past few weeks, months, and I dare say years. But more recently, the past few months have been quite a tough one with a number of, everyone seems to be, be at a high alert. There seems to be some tension. So when the police puts out statements like that, it's because there's a fear that the terrorists, the bandits, can use that as an avenue to everyone would think it's pyrotechnics, they would think it's knockouts, whereas they're actually carrying out an operation. Or people who have had to leave the trauma, who their lived experience is living in these areas, once they hear the knockout, there's a trigger and they automatically think the bandits are around the corner. So I can completely, totally and wholeheartedly understand when this kind of bans are made.
But doesn't it take out the joy of Christmas? You remember your childhood, and
yes.
This fireworks used to be an integral part of it.
I agree.
These days, we don't even have Harmattan anymore because of global warming.
Exactly.
And the knockout that we used to enjoy, they want to take
Let
it
me
away.
tell you
what's Christmas? We don't even have snow. So what is Christmas about?
We've never had snow for our Christmas. But you know what? Then the joy of Christmas.
In the UK, we have snow.
Sorry. The joy of Christmas.
It's not Mariah Carey.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, go on, please. I'm sorry.
The joy of Christmas was sharing and caring. Back in the day, you could go out and play with your neighbors. Your parents would leave you to play with your neighbors' children. You share rice for your neighbors. Not like you didn't cook in your house or they didn't cook in their house. You take rice to them. They'll bring rice to you. We don't do all that anymore because times have changed. You can't leave your child to go and play outside because if your child goes anywhere, you will be held responsible. Back in the day, they said it takes a village to raise a child. Right now, it is you, your family, and your village community.
Very important question.
Do you know I ordered turkey from one of these apps, the ones that deliver to your house, and I saw turkey for 6.5.
Wow.
It was supposed to be like half. I think it was half kilo. I don't know now.
Dead chicken,
no, turkey,
fresh.
Frozen turkey.
Frozen turkey.
It came to my house. I was trying to make pepper soup 2 nights ago, and the turkey came and it was 2 lean laps of turkey.
It shrank.
No, it was just very small.
That's
for 6.5.
Yeah.
My heart.
No, that's expensive.
Binga, my heart was paining me. My heart, I was just like, I had to call the delivery person that, Oga, sorry, now you pack this thing because why am I getting to be saying, Madam, I don't know. They just pack and give me, I can't give you.
6.5.
6,500 for 2 lean pieces of turkey.
So this is December.
If turkey is so expensive, then how much is vulture? No, things are really hard.
But bottom line, let's see what Nigerians are saying. Let's see what Nigerians are saying about this. Let's go straight to X. Pastor B says, let it circulate to all the 36 states. We don't need it at this particular moment. For the first time,
Pastor B, after enjoying your childhood,
God leads. These are all men of God who are tweeting. I love this report. Given the current situation in the country, no one should use firecrackers. Oh, we forgot to add that. Firecrackers. So we know when bandits they come. Because when you hear boom, bah, boost, boost, you need to understand.
Okay.
Bodu says, I've been expecting this announcement because now every year them they talk since time immemorial.
Just like the announcement of the withdrawal of VIP.
It's a way for the police to say to us,
Season's greetings. Happy customer service week.
Thank God they said firecrackers are not bangers. They're all the same. We've mentioned their name, different name. Wahala, she knockouts na bandits. It's funny, but let's be honest.
It's funny, but it's not funny.
It's a clarion call. It's a very important call to make because the truth is, nothing is safe as it is now. Nothing seems safe, rather, as we are now. We live in a very difficult moment where if you hear a particular sound, your heart starts to beat fast, and you start to wonder, wait, is that a firecracker, knockout, banger?
Do you know that?
The biscuit doesn't make
sound. Do you know that?
Or
even on the island where, so interestingly, knockouts and pyrotechnics are not restricted to festive seasons on the island. They take permission, and maybe during we have Indians who live on the island
Diwali.
when they are doing Diwali.
You know, police, explosive and ordnance
exactly. So they actually take permission and they use the the pyrotechnics. Even sometimes couples getting married, they'll take permission, and at the end everybody will go out in the night. You know, those Oyibo things, I love it so much. Go outside and then they'll do fireworks. I remember on one of such days, my mom was in my house, my mom and my auntie, and they panicked. And they told me, oh, there's gunshot. And I had to tell them that it's not gunshot. Now, so this is a normal reality. So we can't downplay the reality of a number of Nigerians who are traumatized. I don't think, it doesn't feel to me like we've seen insecurity this bad in such a long time.
Right.
So with the constant talks about insecurity, the lived experiences of Nigerians who constantly see their loved ones, their neighbors, their community members being abducted, being killed, hearing of bandits releasing fire, it's understandable when the police puts things like this because it's traumatic to them. And as much as I love fireworks, as much as I love, all that display because it reminds me of Christmas, we have to ask ourselves, our current security architecture, does it allow for such to...
Maybe Lagos, it doesn't affect Lagos. But
you can also join the official fireworks. Because I'm sure Akwa Ibom State, after their Christmas carol, they would have this, the states will employ people to have a fireworks display, the official countdown for Lagos State too. So you can always join the government.
Anyway, let's know what your thoughts are concerning this story, and if it comes down to your state, will you gladly accept it? Away from that...
Sorry, before we go away, so that we can... Chukao Chiama says, so sad that phone is gone in Nigeria under a certain APC. No wonder a Canadian court labeled them a terrorist party.
Well, Chuka, I think it's just the times we find ourselves. We don't know what to say to that.
We don't really know. It's
but away from that, let's tell you about another story this time. The UK government has rejected the federal government's request for Ike Ekweremadu to complete his prison term in Nigeria. Now, you see why a certain envoy, like you find there on the screen, had gone to the UK.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Minister of
Justice. You have all of them and a few other persons who followed them. Yes, high-powered delegation went to the UK. And when the issues were raised that what are they going to do in the UK, they said they just wanted to go talk and find out how the case is going. But then again, this is the result. A former Deputy Senate President definitely is locked up in the United Kingdom, and the reason is because he was convicted in the UK over his role in an unlawful organ-related arrangement, a case that stirred strong reactions both at home, here in Nigeria, and abroad. Now, the bid to secure his transfer, that's what they went for. They went to see if they can transfer him from the UK to Nigeria. Well, Nigeria recently sent this high-level delegation to London, led by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuga, hoping to activate the existing prisoner transfer framework. But despite those diplomatic efforts, the UK said, no, we're not doing that, maintaining that conditions for such a transfer had not been met. Now, this latest decision not only revives public interest in how the case initially unfolded, but also underscores the widening gap between Nigeria's diplomatic push and the UK's firm interpretation of its legal obligations. It also raises questions on how Nigeria's rule of law is perceived. Now, these are the critical conversations that we'd like to look into. Now, looking at the team that went there to the United Kingdom.
On taxpayers' funds.
Okay, all right. And remembering that the Senator Ike Ekweremadu was sentenced to 9 years and I think 6 months or so, if I'm right. And remember that it was himself and his wife, eventually his wife,
was released and then she came back to Nigeria. She's
back home. But the situation still persists in the sense that he would have to serve his term there in the United Kingdom. However, is it allowed? Yes. In saner climate, in other countries, I mean, globally, sometimes you have these diplomatic meetings.
You have a prisoner exchange, prisoner transfer framework that is existing.
Exactly.
Because of the United Kingdom government does repatriate some Nigerians in their prisons to complete their sentences in Nigeria. So, but I don't know why this wasn't agreed to. I guess maybe.
So I think we know why it was.
Well, remember, we don't have ambassadors.
A politically exposed person.
So, yes, one is a politically exposed person, but I would say that it might reflect a deeper distrust, or let's say mistrust, of Nigeria's government, Nigeria's judiciary or legal system to be able to effectively ensure that Ekweremadu carries out his sentence. Because what we see in Nigeria is a lot of the time high-profile individuals escape the law. You know, it feels like the law is favorable to some and not to others. We've heard it sung in our songs when they talk, you know, about how the law is selective. So this might just reflect that underlying mistrust of our system to be able to effectively ensure that he serves out his tenure, or his time, rather, not tenure, his time in prison. So I think that's what it is.
I absolutely agree with you, 100%. But let's hear what Nigerians are saying about this matter on X.
The UK's rejection of the federal government's request to have Ike Ekweremadu complete his prison term in Nigeria is a blunt reminder of the gulf between a country governed by rule of law and one governed by rule of connections. The UK made its decision because, in its view, Nigeria cannot guarantee that the sentence of a powerful politician will be fully served. And painful as it is, can anyone honestly argue otherwise? In the UK, the law is an institution predictable, impartial, and blind to status. In Nigeria, the law is too often a suggestion, negotiable for the rich, flexible for the connected, and harsh only for those without influence. Ekweremadu's case exposes this contrast in the most uncomfortable way possible. A foreign nation has effectively declared that our justice system cannot be trusted to handle one of our own. But beyond the embarrassment, this moment should force a sober reflection. How did we become a country where a convict seeks transfer not for rehabilitation, but for the likelihood of relief? How did we build a system where the powerful expect that accountability will weaken the moment they return home? The UK is simply saying what Nigerians have known for decades, that our institutions bend under political pressure, that the mighty rarely face the full consequences of their actions, and that justice in Nigeria is often a matter of convenience. Until we find a nation where the law has teeth, where institutions cannot be bought, and where consequences are not optional for the elite, we will continue to be treated with suspicion by countries that actually enforce their laws. Ekweremadu's rejection is not just a diplomatic decision. It is a verdict on the state of our justice system. I think this person properly encapsulates what I said in just broader terms and expands it. There's really nothing more for me to add. The whole point of his imprisonment is that he committed a crime. Actions have consequences. So why is the government of Nigeria humiliating itself by going abroad to beg for his release? Leadership should defend justice, not bend it for the politically connected. And our next tweets in this regard: UK government, you are doing well. You go reach here now. They contest for governor from prison. Olufemi Ayodele says about the issue with Ekweremadu. Can we have more tweets, please? As it should be. Tinubu's government is disgraceful for even making the request in the first place. How do you go to a first world country and ask them to release a prisoner to you so he can complete his sentence in Nigeria? Is that not degrading and insane for a country like Nigeria? Was it not a former British Prime Minister who described Nigeria as a fantastically corrupt, and yet you still went there attempting to corruptly bring a convicted offender back home for VIP treatment in Abuja? Thank you to the United Kingdom for rightly rejecting such an absurd request, Ebuka says.
Well, let's see what Undisputed FX says. Truly, he's a criminal, but now still Nigerian citizen. There's nothing bad in that. UK will do the same thing for their citizen. That's what he says. And there you have it. This shows he has no reason to complete his sentence in Nigeria, because tell me how you prefer Nigerian jail to UK jail. Maybe
just the fact that in Nigeria he would have been closer to his family. You know, families can probably come and have visiting days in jail. He can
and probably be himself.
Yeah. I mean, Bobrisky has gone to prison in Nigeria.
And he came out looking fresh.
You know, so
after serving
Bobrisky.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like you will serve your time, but you'll be a part of like all the festivities. You can be eating onubu soup from prison.
Or bolo soup.
But you would agree as well that if he's brought back to Nigeria in the form of diplomatic ties and so on, there's a certainty, especially from those who have expressed their thoughts, that he would not be in prison. he will not be in prison. Because the truth is, at first, if you want to get him out from prison and you say he's going to come here and serve his term, how many politicians in Nigeria today have served their terms in prison here in Nigeria? How many? Apart from Nnamdi Kanu, who's the recent person that has just been arrested and has been taken to prison, how many Nigerians?
Orji Kalu was in prison until he was released on some technicalities. Yes, but
since then,
you can argue, okay, what sort of prison, what grade? Former President Olusegun Obasanjo was in prison.
No, during what time?
Military.
But recently, we've seen people who have been convicted. We've seen people who have actually been, fingers are pointed to a few politicians.
The former Speaker of the House of Reps, that was bribing Otedola. What's the name of that gentleman?
Okay, yes.
Farouk Lawan.
Farouk Lawan, yes.
So I think the summary of what we're saying here, what the UK agrees with and what a number of Nigerians have said is the fact that the law is selective in dispensing justice, and that when the rich and influential run foul of the law, they're able to bend the arms of the law or bend the arms of justice to suit their convenience, which is not the reality of the everyday Nigerian.
And I hope this ends this chapter, because they might wake up next week and say, let's send another more powerful delegation.
Who's more powerful?
Minga, please give me.
Maybe the president himself.
Or the
president will not do that. That would be very, very...
So that's what we're saying.
We have more
and that's why
they should end this.
And that's why today we're also going to look at the feedback and the reaction that we're getting from different quarters regarding the high security personnel that were sent to meet the Senate in the United States of America in discussing the genocide issue. And people are reacting. Why would all the top security chiefs,
at the time,
chief of army staff,
insecurity,
the IGP,
insecurity,
the NSA, what are they going to meet? That they are going there to meet a senator. A senator.
No. An equivalent of a member of the House of Representatives. Congressman.
Exactly, congressman, better still. And people are saying that instead of having that number of persons go, why didn't the Senate president himself just go? Which is
sorry, I have a question. Who sponsored this trip?
A bit better. Of course, the federal government.
I don't know. I can't say. But
no, they went under the edges. I don't need to. They went on the edges of the federal government.
Taxpayers' money that there isn't.
No, Olive.
Their appeal is on behalf of the government of Nigeria.
It's the federal government. They didn't go on themselves. So they went under the edges of the federal government.
So the situations in which this.
I did a which way Nigeria in this.
The situations and conditions in which this would be permissible or acceptable or understandable or expected would be where there have been Nigerian citizens who have maybe been wrongfully convicted. There have been cases where people would be miscarriage of justice, where you carry drugs for someone you didn't know, and then you went to a country that decided to, they caught you with the drugs, but there's evidence to prove that you didn't know, you were innocent, and you were unfortunately framed. In cases like that, okay, but maybe then in this one, there are laws.
He knew he was committing.
There are laws and there are actions.
You commit the crime, you do the time.
You know what?
And there are other Nigerians in other jails in the world, about 700 of them languished in Thailand, in different parts of the world, some as a result of miscarriage of justice. The Nigerian Diaspora Commission and the Foreign Ministry has never deemed it fit to, send high-power delegates,
high profile.
But because there's a politically exposed person. Let's hope this ends this, and I hope next year when they face the Senate to defend the budget of their ministry, this line item will come up. They spent X amount of money going to beg for clemency on behalf of
and talking of clemency, where is Nigeria's clemency? Where's our clemency list? There seems to be silence.
We've moved on to other things.
We have a shutdown.
Let's go back. That's the problem. We move on. But let's just 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes.
Cut it.
Just 2 minutes. Where is it? Because that's the question I asked this morning. Where is the presidential clemency list? Where is it?
No, but the list is available now.
They reviewed it. Some names were removed. And, where is it?
The names were removed as a result of the...
So where is the final list?
They are dotting their I's and crossing the T's.
All right.
Yeah.
Insecurity has taken over. So they need to focus. Anyway, let's move on to our last story. A wife of a military officer is in the news. Now, she has called out the Nigerian army over what she describes as an alarming silence surrounding the death of Brigadier-General Musa Uba, commander of the 25 Task Force Brigade in Borno State, who was killed after an ambush by ISWAP insurgents along the Damboa-Biu axis. General Uba initially survived the attack and even sent a WhatsApp video to his superiors, confirming he was alive, but he was later captured and executed by the insurgents, according to reports and videos that circulated on social media. The military's wife, public condemnation highlights growing frustration among families of service members, demanding transparency and accountability as the nation mourns the loss of one of its senior frontline officers. Well, take a look at the video.
Even military wives are quiet. You go keep quietly, go concern you. Our government is quiet. As a country, how do we lose guard to this point where they go kill Brigadier and nothing happen? When I saw that man sitting down there like a thief, I begin to ask myself, what is the point? What is really the point? That our men cannot get protection or vengeance, call it justice. So what's the point? They didn't even fly half-mast for Maiduguri again, because if they won't do that one, that flag will never go up again. It will remain on perpetual half-mast. That is the amount of people we are losing. Mr. President, as a military wife, my consolation was that all the times I had to carry my children by myself, take myself for every antenatal, birth my children without my husband, that a time will come, he ain't go do it 35 years and I will have him back. That every birthday he has missed, every anniversary I had to do alone, every night I had to sleep alone, every mother and father work I don't do, is because one day I will get him back. He will pay his dues. That has always been my consolation. So tell me now, why he's looking as if the possibility that he might serve the army till forever has killed the reality of my consolation, because he might miss every birthday for nothing if he just die like fowl. And yet a bandit's life is more important than a soldier's life. If soldier discharge one bullet for bush to protect himself, would I go charge him? If boys enter bush to go take revenge, una go charge them. No be. This is a man did not just die. Men are not just dying. Generations are dying. People that depended on this man, a whole family he carried on his back, died with him. We are waiting till they finish all of us before we go say something. But that court, whenever take half blood like Maiduguri don't take, they declared state of emergency. The president declared it on the 18th of March this year. So tell me why till now they never declared for Maiduguri. Why have the military not been given the power to take Maiduguri take the bull by the horn? Not be everything we go talk online. We know. People don't know. We they watch news, we they hear things. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that some of the people where they do this shit, they get passports. Some of us no get, so when it's up, they go run leave the country for us. But the God that does not take preference or bribe, it's my new consolence, because every man go pay within his soul.
And that's the way to end that video. Every man go pay for within his soul. That was, if that video didn't move you, I don't know what kind of heart you had. It's a very emotional video. It was tugging at our hearts, and it helps you see the sacrifice made by servicemen. It's not just them making the sacrifices, it's their wives, it's their children, it's their parents, their family members, their siblings. Too many sacrifices. But Let's see what Nigerians are saying about this on X. All right.
Mr. Manager says, like, I can't seriously fathom why, and I'm seriously scared for my country. Even if the Brigadier-General was a bad person, the uniform he wears wouldn't make his kind actually get angry and show it. But everywhere is so calm as if nothing happened. It's really beyond my understanding, says Mr. Manager. Torchlight News says this country has turned into a place where the blood of those offending us is treated like it's worthless, while the people terrorizing the nation are handled with kid gloves. How can a whole brigadier general be brutally killed and the system responds with silence? But the same system is quick to punish a soldier who fires a shot in self-defense. Osisi says, if it was by mistake ever serving the military in Nigeria, I'll walk away the moment you rehabilitate any terrorists that I managed to capture and hand over to you, the moment any person related to Gumi joins the military. Anything other than that is just you playing Ludo with your life. Interesting. Perspective. Shami says, when Wike had a clash with the officer in Yorima, both the retired and active senior and junior superiors and subordinates came out to charge, because how can a civilian challenge the army? No voice from the retired army personnel again. Sycophancy is real. And Cychris says, her fear is valid. The brigadier general is killed and the silence is deafening. Families are left wondering how their loved ones will survive a system that punishes self-defense while terrorists roam freely. This is exactly why morale keeps sinking.
Anyway, that's all. Just yesterday or 2 days ago, I think about 48 hours, a member of the Senate said that he's calling for a probe of the Nigerian military. And he said the military needs to be probed. And he feels that it's very serious. They need to be probed like now, really now. And there are insinuations about what's been happening, especially with soldiers. We've seen videos of soldiers complaining about not being given the firepower, the will to do what they have to do. They're being stopped. We've had guests on this program here on Breakfast Central, security experts, even ex-former military men who have said, listen, sometimes they really want to go out there, but then they are told, do not go after them. Don't go after the terrorists. Don't go after the bandits. So in that video, she highlighted every single thing in one. If you take your time to listen and break it down, she has said everything. And I think if Mr. President was watching, every question he needs to ask the military is inside that video. He just needs to pick them one after the other, and then he would see that he would find almost 6, 7, up to 10 points that he could use to address the military, and then go ahead and find a lasting solution to the entire challenges they face. But it's very sad.
Again, it's whether we really have the political will to find
these soldiers and the men and women on the front line. Sometimes they pay the supreme price. Like General Uba, it's a very difficult job, especially in times like this. So they should be given all the necessary support they need in terms of manpower and equipment to deal decisively with these violent extremist groups we're facing. And I think the nomenclature needs to change. Kidnappers, bandits, all of them are terrorists. So
yeah,
I think we should just stick to terrorists.
Yeah.
When you kidnap somebody, you're terrorizing the person. You terrorize the entire community. So why would I call you a kidnapper? You're a terrorist.
We must ask ourselves if our government has the political will to actually fight insecurity. It's not about saying that they're fighting insecurity, but actually having the political will. And in addition to what Benga has said in a few seconds, every year, January 15th, we celebrate Armed Forces Remembrance Day. It's not just about going to lay rest. What actually are we doing to help them, to equip them and their families? Because it's an ultimate sacrifice. You watch the movie, I think, is it 76 or 96 it's called? I think it's 76, I'm not sure.
Hours.
No, the name of the movie, there's a Nigerian movie.
Ramsey Noah?
Yes, and Rita Dominic.
Rita Dominic.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there are two movies. There's
73 or something.
76 or 73 or 96, one of those three names. Then there's another one that talked about something of a soldier. I've forgotten. It was Daniel that was the lead actor. Watching those movies will make you see the sacrifice that their families have to make. So if there's any justice, when these people fall, we will make sure that we make the quality of their families' lives great, and even sort of, advocate for some sort of compensation. No compensation will ever bring them back. But anyway, we're still streaming live on YouTube, but now let's share with you what our headlines this morning are. Delegation engages U.S. officials over insecurity concerns. Assessing the effectiveness of Nigeria's intelligence gathering system is another conversation we'll be looking at this morning. And the former Vice-President Atiku Abubakar formally joins ADC ahead of 2027. The Kogi State Government refused the local government fund diversion allegation, says it's false and misleading. We'll be reviewing the newspaper front pages. Stay tuned for all these and more. Welcome back. Nigeria's high-level security delegation has just returned from Washington, D.C. after a series of high-stakes meetings with top U.S. officials. The Nigerian delegation, led by National Security Advisor Nuru Ribadu, the delegation met with the U.S. Congress, the State Department, the National Security Council, and even the Department of War. The agenda? Nigeria's worsening insecurity and the growing international concern over alleged religious-motivated violence.
The government says the talks were productive, with the new security partnership on the table, while critics argue this is too little too late, a move by the Nigerian government. Others believe it could be a diplomatic win for the country in securing positive partnerships that could help the country deal with its security challenges. Join us this morning for this very important discussion is the founder of TAF Africa, Dr. Ike Ekweremadu. Good morning to you, Dr. Ekweremadu, and thanks for joining us once again on Breakfast Central.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Now, Dr. Ekweremadu, what do you make of this visit? Some have criticized it, saying, the high echelon of the Nigerian security architecture traveled to the United States. The Inspector General of Police, the National Security Advisor, Director of the Intelligence Agency, and also, the Chief of Defense Staff at a time of heightened insecurity in the country. So they're wondering if this visit is more about managing Nigeria's image abroad than solving the root causes of insecurity and dealing with it decisively. After all, they said charity starts at home.
Well, this was so to speak, a high-level diplomatic delegation by Nigerians, obviously representing the president. But this high-level diplomatic delegation decided to kickstart their visit with a very low-level arm of government, which is the legislative arm. I didn't see any business where that level of government officials on the part of Nigeria will go and sit down with a House of Rep member who was literally lecturing them on how to take responsibility, which is what happened by Hezinger, who told them to their face that they came here to drink coffee and to make excuses. What happened to our House of Representative Committee on Defense? Why didn't they segment the delegation and have that committee chairman or some of his members go to meet House of Rep members? Why would a sitting Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Minister for Defense, the IG, that I don't see what his business joining that delegation would be, you know, and all these very highly placed government officials going to meet a very low threshold for diplomatic engagement. You know, I think that was first what I would say a diplomatic deflection that never worked, because they wanted to change the narrative and say to them and the world that, listen, we're doing something about the security challenges. First, the way and manner the government went about it, that they immediately, Donald Trump said that they went into denial mode. Oh, there's nothing like that. It never happened. And then they began to get intel that, hey, you're dealing with Donald Trump. He's going to take this matter much more than you can handle. And then they start running around. Why do we get into this diplomatic quagmire? Why do we get into these diplomatic reactive tendencies where we're trying to correct an already spewed out of control narrative? I think that's one of the major errors. They didn't do a proper assessment of who they are going to meet. NSA should meet an NSA. There is an NSA in the U.S., Donald Trump, National Security Advisor. You know, the defense should meet the Secretary of Defense. You know, and I wish we had a diplomat, because if we had a diplomat, he would have done proper checks and then advise them, this is the person you meet. Because whether we are third world, that they call us, and America is first world, in diplomatic setting, we are the same. We are the same. If you recall your ambassador, we will recall our ambassador. We are the same. And so I think it was more of a humiliation on the part of the diplomatic delegation. I don't know. They should tell us what were the things, what were the benefits of this trip, because everything they tried to explain didn't hold waters. You know, it's either the government official in America is berating them or giving them a lesson or telling them outrightly you are not taking responsibility. And of course, the Nigerian public here, we don't care about that visit, because we wanted to see concrete benefits for it. In fact, in the midst of the visits, the insecurity scaled up. You know, people were being kidnapped, bandits were on the rampage, you know, and this idea, and I keep saying this idea of trying to play what would look like the Northern game. Oh, these guys are not terrorists. Oh, we need to appease them. It's poverty that is driving them. You know, then let's not kill them. The concrete issue is reducing ourselves to a point of going to negotiate with terrorists. And I hear from certain quarters that not only some of them have been de-radicalized and entrenched into the military. That's a time bomb, if that is true. So these are some of the things, instead of us to spend time and look at our internal issues and rejig the security architecture, you know, and be more proactive than these reactive tendencies, you know. So for me, that's my take, because I wish that they had taken time. I don't want my country, Nigeria, that I love so much, to be taken for granted, to be ridiculed at the international level. And that's what this whole thing have achieved.
All right, Doctor.
I wish NSA had sat back and rejig the security architecture and get result. Then carry that result to them to say, yes, you said this. Yes, we know this is happening. This is the action we have taken. They had no strategy. And like Olive did ask, they are spending our taxpayers' money. You know, all of a sudden, everybody wants to go abroad. They go and negotiate. Do we need that level of a number of people to go and start engaging? We don't. Many of them don't have diplomatic engagement experience.
Okay, Dr.
Why would you put NSA in charge of this when the likes of Bianco Ono is there, who Bianca has been an ambassador before, so she understands the intricacies of diplomacy. Go ahead.
Okay, Dr. Jake, this has also been directed to the fact that Nigeria doesn't have any ambassador representing the country. And if we recall, while this statement made by President Donald Trump was highlighted, we also did see a significance in terms of the message that came out from the presidency that the president will be ready to bring out the names of the ambassadors who will be going to represent Nigeria, of course, as envoys. But till now, we've still not gotten any names, no list, no nothing has been done. And what do you make of the quick statement that was equally made by the SSA just 2 days after the statement came from America that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be meeting with President Trump on a Tuesday to discuss the issue? I think this statement was made by the SSA Boala himself, and nothing happened before we now saw this high-level profile, persons who went to the United States. What do you make of all of these statements? Every single thing happening all at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Well, obviously, you listen. You don't need an IQ of a mushroom to know that they tried to get an appointment for the president to meet with Donald Trump, and the White House turned it down. I mean, they don't work like us. Everything is scheduled. Everything runs on schedule, And for you to just come in and say, oh, you want to meet the president of the United States, you may have to wait for like 2 months because they work strictly on schedule, and nobody changes that. Not even the president himself changes that. So that's another very concerning announcement and move. Why wouldn't they, before you announce that kind of thing, you would have sorted yourself out. You know that you're on schedule. You know that you have the appointment. They didn't have that. They wanted to just quickly give us the impression that they are doing something. And that's the backlash, Let me say this. June 10th, I was among the delegates that represented Nigeria at the United Nations, and when I got to New York, the diplomatic mission in New York had made all the appointments and meetings and all that. And then I went straight to the UN, and getting to the gate, they turned me back to Nigerian's house. So I went to the Charge d'Affaires, and he had my ID, and I collected my ID, and I went to the UN. So these are some of the intricacies that we go through. If we had the ambassador, who is the administrative head of the embassy, who represent Nigeria, who is like the president of Nigeria in that country, representing the aspirations and the interests of Nigerians and that of the president. We don't have that. So, if we had an ambassador, as soon as that thing happened, that ambassador would have engaged, and with experience, engage the secretary to the states, in the State Department, and they will mutually work out all the invitations, all the confirmation, and then brief the government officials, including the president, of these things and who they are going to meet, why they will meet that person, for what purpose. These are the diplomatic undercurrent process that goes on before you start engaging and start making an announcement. I mean, White House will laugh them to scorn when they say, oh, President Bola Tinubu is going to meet with Donald Trump on Tuesday. And the people say, well, we don't have that on our schedule. It's not going to work, So that's what happened. So in direct answer to your question, it shows our diplomatic immaturity channel and how we do things, and the way and manner we don't take things seriously, and then the backlash of such move in the diplomatic world is a different kettle of fish. It's not politics, it's diplomacy, and if you want to play in that game, you have to learn the simple ethics of diplomacy. Tell the truth in love without hurting. And if you have to hurt in such a way that you can still smile. The trend of the diplomacy is telling you to go to hell and you look forward to going to hell.
Now, since you've brought about telling the truth, how important is the conversation or the idea of clarifying whether or not there has been a genocide against Christians? Because that has been the core of the conversation that we've seen so far. Is that an important element to look at in the whole conversation?
Well, listen, I've engaged on this and I've given my opinion concerning this. I think the term genocide is not properly used. I don't think that there is a sort of a genocide directed only at Christians, okay? But what is truth is that Christians are being killed, and the number is more than Muslims. Muslims are also being killed. But if you look at it with a very objective and analytical mind, you will agree with me that the target against Christians far more outnumbers the target against Muslims, and there are people that are playing on this politically and economically. That the more we have the security challenges, the more the undercurrent security operatives that even the government engages, the more they create the room for this stupid, and I'm sorry to say, and I'll say it, is a stupid ideology of trying to appease a terrorist, and that's why some military people that have been at the helm of affairs, some of them have been retired and removed. They never subscribe to that principle. You can't negotiate with a terrorist. You cannot negotiate with a bully. If you keep doing that, you will keep getting the pinching and the punching from that individual, So it has become a more or less like normalcy for a Muslim clerics to come out and brag and threaten the government. The same thing with a Christian clerics coming out to brag and threatening the government. They have normalized it, and because if you want to do anything, they say, "Oh, leave it. This is religion. It's going to create problem." You cannot continue to accommodate criminality covered in cassock or Islamic gown. It shouldn't happen. There are some of them, they were called all kinds of names, clerics. These guys, they live like kings. They move in convoy. They have bulletproof vehicle. Who gave them those? They control ammunition. They know them. They have huge amount of money in their disposition. Why are we not going after them? Why are we treating them as sacred cow? And we think we will have peace. It is laughable. It is laughable. And it's unfortunate. I watched that woman and I felt pain. I can put myself in her shoes, even though I'm not there. But she was telling the truth that we need to really interrogate and do something about.
Absolutely. And do something about it is what the federal government's high-powered delegation to Washington will say they've done. And they didn't just come back empty-handed. The federal government, I don't know if to say or claims at this point in time, but it says it has secured U.S. cooperation to tackle terrorism and banditry. What does and what should that mean in actual practical terms? Are we talking intelligence sharing or boots on the ground to aid security agencies in battling the security challenges? Ideally, from your perspective, what sort of help and cooperation should we get, or do we need them to come all guns blazing?
empty words, no substance. You don't just come and make such an announcement without substantiating it. They're empty words. Look, we also do have trickles of intelligent information that Americans feels that we are not serious in tackling our insecurity problem. They feel that there are compromises even within the government circle about this terrorism. There's no doubt, there's a possibility that there are some people in government that are still funding these people for political reasons. And there are some people who have political interests that are still funding these organizations, for political reasons, and sometimes it says that whatever comes around. This same group of people today, most of them that are complaining, were the same group of people who went to America and invited them and used all the diplomacy and political machinery against Goodluck Jonathan. And Goodluck Jonathan lost for it. And now it's happening to them, and they are crying wolf. So to the statement that was issued, I challenge them to tell us the substance. What kind of help are we getting from America in concrete terms? Are we getting military armaments? Are we getting capacity building for this thing? Are they going to come boot on the ground to help us direct some of this counterterrorism and all the boundaries that we're going through? When is this going to stop? Till today. Maybe they will say, well, I'm not a security person, I will not know. However, I haven't seen a strategic, clear path that we can look at to say we are sure this government is going to solve this problem. I'm not being pessimistic. I'm optimistic that we will get results. But they need to show me the compass that leads to that destination that we can say we are getting results.
All right, Doctor.
And finally, the prosecution. The same people that they are arresting, they never prosecute them. What they will do is they say they are doing
deradicalization.
Deradicalization, thank you, my dear. And then who? Check all the people that have gone through that process. They will always come back worst. So there is no clear strategy. It's an empty statement until they show me or show us substance.
All right, Dr. Jake, I have two questions to ask just as we look to wrap this conversation up. My second question will come later on, possibly after you answer this one. This is quite interesting in terms of when we look at the current situation Nigeria is going through. Interesting in the sense that Rivers State, a state that is so dear to you, would it see a little fracas that happened within the state? And then, if you recall, a state of emergency was called immediately. There are a few persons who feel the insecurity in Nigeria has gotten to a level in which the president should be able to call for a state of emergency in some of these major localities and states that are bedeviled by the incessant killings and so on. Take, for instance, Plateau, name them. I mean, we all know these states whenever we talk about them. But it seems like there's no state of emergency. I mean, you've been in the middle. So do you think, or what do you think practically, that should the president call for a state of emergency on Nigeria's insecurity, or should we keep trying to handle the situation the way we are going right now?
Okay, Joe, let me start by telling you why the president is literally playing catch up, He won't do that because of his own political interest. They feel that, some of these northern states is something, once you touch it, there will be a backlash, a political backlash. And by the way, it will interest you to know that I'm in Rivers State. I'm in Port Harcourt this morning, and I'll be here for some time because we're helping to to put some level of inclusive governance across the 31 local government, and we're training disability inclusion officers, and I'm very happy that the governor endorsed it, and the head of service is driving it, and the head of service is a person with disability, So back to the issue of emergency rule. There's no doubt there are many states in the north that have had that the president should have declared emergency rules long time ago, but they are turning the other way, looking the other way. When Rivers State did not in any way qualify for any form of state of emergency, somebody will say, well, they've gotten some level of peace. But you've gotten some level of peace that has shut the governor's mouth. He's not saying anything. He's not giving any interview. He's not telling you what the issues are. He's just trying to live above waters, and that's where we are. So there are many states, whether it's Maiduguri, Zamfara, they deserve a state of emergency, but they wouldn't do it because of political interest, and maybe also because of economic interest, because River State was a place that they know when they do that, they will have access to funds, Till date, I repeat, till date, they have not told us what Ibas did with billions of naira that he administered and spent as if he was a king. They have not told us. These are River State taxpayers' money and River State allocation. They have not told us how they focused and used banks to get loan when they didn't have access to Rivers people's allocation. The governor himself, his hands are tied, but he hasn't been able to tell us how much he left them a lot of money. But how much did he meet? He haven't. But I thank God for his life, for some of the courageous move he has taken by removing some of the appointments that they made, clandestine appointments that were made midnight, taking people that will cover their traps. And Sim has been bold enough to dismantle some of those things. But I'm asking him as my own kinsman to do more. He needs to do more. He needs to be bold and confront the evil that he met, that eventually is usurping the opportunities for Rivers people.
All right. Wow. I mean, it is a tough time, and these conversations that we're having, we hope that it translates into actions and preemptive actions. Not just something that is reactive, as we oftentimes see that our government acts. We wait for something to happen and then we react, as opposed to preparing ahead of time. But thank you so much, Mr. Epele, for joining us this morning.
I'd like to thank you especially, Dr. Epele, for your range. You can speak on subjects as wide as human rights to all other matters. And we appreciate your love and patriotism for our great country, Nigeria. Thanks for always obliging us.
Thank you. They say leaders are readers. So I read, just like you research. You guys were analyzing. I do. Whether it's engineering, medical, disability, media, I do. I've been up since 2 a.m. So that's my life, But thank you guys for, you always make me proud. You are guys, I called you the best bunch on television.
Thank you, you're too kind.
Thank you so much.
Joe, thanks. Joe, I will talk to you
no problem.
When you start the show.
No problem. We're here for you, always. Thanks for your sharing your time with us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, away from that conversation, let's tell you about a very interesting one. Now, the Minister of Works, David Umahi, has conducted an inspection of the ongoing Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway project, reviewing progress across multiple sections. Now, News Central's Igbalani Omoni has more in this report.
The minister began with 47-kilometer stretch of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, confirming it remains on track for completion and opening to traffic by December.
We have just about 3 kilometers to complete the entire, sand filling from Ahmad Bello to Eleko Junction. So we've agreed with the contractor, and that's what we're assessing. Everything will be done to have unfettered access from Channel 0 to Channel 47 and up to 50 and up to Channel 55. We intend to, do that, and we've set aside from 12th to 17th of next month to come and publicly open it for the public to use.
He also reviewed that Section 1 and half of Section 2 are slated for full commissioning in April, with bridges to be finalized later.
We have done all the necessary sand filling up to this point and beyond. We still have from Channel 34 to Channel 37 to backfill.
And we wait until there is enough settlement before they start the stone base and the CRC pit. So the work is going on as designed.
From Channel 0 to Channel 750, and we have this kind of route. That will be a revolution in terms of the economic growth in this country.
Next, the minister inspected the Ekpe Deep Sea Port to Ijebode access, a 25-kilometer segment featuring 3 carriageways and a 4-kilometer bridge, noting steady progress and improved construction pace.
Here we are told that they can't move further because of shrine. I've fought, shrines in many places all my life, and so if the people are not removing the shrine, I will come and remove the shrine by myself. We pay 30% of the cost of the entire project, and so they are to source for 70% loan, and then the federal government will borrow it. At the end of the day, the road is going to be towed, and it's a very viable project.
We can only do a fantastic job without any excuse. We will try our best.
Once completed, the highways is expected to improve mobility, stimulate trade, and boost economic activities along Nigeria's coastal corridor. In Lagos, for News Central, Igbalani Omani.
Who are the people that are erecting those shrines on the highway?
Well, you heard the Honorable Minister. He said he has been taking away, he has been dealing with shrines.
If he can pull down businesses, he must be able to pull down these shrines. They cannot stand.
The shrines can't be an obstacle in the way of progress of Nigerians. And the good thing about this project is that those who deserve compensation have been compensated one way or the other.
Who told you?
But shrines have to do with God. So how do you seek compensation for?
You give a bit of kola nuts, right eye of a tiger, and like the right eyelash. Does tiger have eyelash? Then an anopheles mosquito.
You seem to be very versed in this. Are you retired as a wine?
Wait, with a little bit of palm oil. You sprinkle the palm oil, and when you put the palm oil, you don't just pour it. You put a drop of palm oil. You wait for 2 seconds. You put another drop of palm oil. Then you put gin to the ground. You pour libation, to the ground.
You're such an expert. Legal luminary and as a wine luminary.
Okay, as your resident has a wine on Breakfast Central, we're going to break, and when we come back, there's more to discuss. Please stay with us.
Let's not
Sir, after you now, you, sir.
The new ADC.
My leader, sir. I'm loyal to your government. You people should put me on camera and let you see me. I'm loyal to your government, sir.
Welcome back. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has formally registered his membership with the African Democratic Congress, ADC, ahead of Nigeria's 2027 elections. Atiku registered and collected his membership card at Jeddah Ward 1 in Jeddah local government area LG of Adamawa State on Monday, November 24. Also, he made that statement as well that he resigned from the People's Democratic Party, accusing the party of straying from its founding ideals. But let's also tell you that before his move, Atiku had been a long-standing member of the PDP, under which he served as vice president from 1999 to 2007. Don't forget, too, that he left the PDP for the defunct Action Congress, where he ran for president in 2007 and returned to the former before joining the All Progressives Congress, APC, in 2014. He, however, dumped the APC and returned to the PDP, whose flag he flew in 2019 and 2023 presidential elections.
His decision to leave the People's Democratic Party on July 16th comes after months of speculation following a period of internal crisis and factional disagreements within the party. Atiku cited irreconcilable differences and a perceived departure from the party's founding principles as the main reasons for his exit. His latest move, many believe, could strengthen coalition party, initially endorsed by politicians including Peter Obi, Rotimi Amechi, David Mark, Nasir El-Rufai, and others as a platform to challenge President Bola Tinubu in the 2027 elections. Now, joining us for this discussion is senior political assistant to former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, Demola Olarewaju. Good morning, congratulations. This is us also assuming that you're now with the ADC as well, is that correct?
Well, yes, that's a fair assumption to make. Good morning, Oli. Good morning, Benga. Morning, Joe.
Morning.
Good morning. So I don't think that it comes as a surprise that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has finally officially joined the ADC at this moment, because many Nigerians, have been wondering what's going on. So tell us, what the expectations for this move symbolize. And I know that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is still running for office. Is he 100% confident about getting the ADC's ticket?
Well, there's never 100% in life, as it is also in politics. Atiku Abubakar's aspiration has been a long-standing one and very clear to all Nigerians. We believe that he will throw his heart into the race, and this is one of those moves. I think, this is perhaps the worst-kept political secret in Nigeria. This was the worst-kept political secret in Nigeria. It was his close identification with the ADC was never hidden. Ever since he left the PDP in July, people have speculated on the next move, but nobody knew, because he had come out to identify that, look, we need an opposition coalition. And, we're happy with the development. And I think, people are very excited. It shows a clear realignment within the polity, because, it's not just about the aspiration now. It's about having an opposition platform that can really challenge the incumbent president and the APC at the polls in the next election. So I think, that's the basis for it. And this is the thinking for everybody who's a political analyst, Oli.
Now, Demola, your principal, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, turns 79 years old today. Happy birthday to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar.
Thank you very much.
Critics will say, look, by 2027, he will be 82 years old. He's also had the opportunity to be vice president of Nigeria. Why is he so desperate to seek power? Someone that has been active in politics since 1993. That we have young and agile Nigerians who can take on this duty. What do you have to say to critics like that, who also say he's not respecting not constitutional, but the gentlemanly agreement that power should rotate between the South and the North every 8 years? How do you respond?
Well, so starting with the age question, I think that, as long as he's healthy, as long as he's fit, as long as he's qualified, his aspiration is, has no barrier If any young person defeats him in a free and fair open primaries, Atiku Abubakar will support the person. And, I will say to the critics that if you look at the history of Atiku Abubakar's political career, his political career has never been associated with the word desperate. This is the only politician in recent times in Nigeria who has defected 3 times from the ruling party into the opposition party as a sitting vice president, where he could have, been a part of the whole Obasanjo arrangement at that time. He defected to an opposition party. He was in the ruling party ahead of 2015. He defected to join the opposition APC. He was, in the ruling party also 3 different times. He had defected from the ruling party. He was in APC with Muhammadu Buhari ahead of 2019. He defected to lead the opposition. And I'm personally challenged and inspired that at his age, at the age of 79, he's still at the forefront of the opposition edge in Nigeria. This is something that, not a lot of young people can do. The age factor is a challenge and an inspiration in tenacity, in persistence. As to the ethnic arrangement, I think that it is clear to Nigerians now that it is not about the ethnicity, it's not about the religion. What we need is a president who is capable. So I think those who continue to bring up the ethnic question really are not being sincere with themselves, because the truth is, in this Tinubu economy, if an Igbo man gives me 1 million naira or a Fulani man gives me 1 million naira, I will still, because I'm a Yoruba man, I'm not going to accept it. Okay, so why would I reject good governance if it is coming from a Fulani and it's bettering my life? Why would I reject good governance if it's coming from an Igbo person if it's going to make my life better? So I think people are not really being sincere with themselves. They just like to play politics with it. I think Nigerians have moved beyond this issue of whether north or south or east or west or anywhere. Nigerians just want good governance. And if Atiku Abubakar can offer that, I think Nigerians will embrace him. Okay,
just to mention, again, I want to go back to the question that Ben Gabro had asked you. 81 years, his faith is healthy, yes. But then we're also the same generation that constantly advocates for younger people to be involved in politics. Our former anthem did say the labors, the labors of our heroes past shall never be in vain. And then when we're younger, we always thought about how, children are the leaders of tomorrow, but the leaders of yesterday have refused to relinquish power to the leaders of tomorrow.
Well, I think, again, it's several things, okay? It's the fact that the ADC has officially put in its manifesto that 60% of its position will be reserved for women and young people. So if there's any political party in Nigeria today that is at the forefront of, youth in politics or youth, the handover, the whole process, I think it's the ADC. But more importantly, if we are looking at confronting Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027, I think there are only very few people that can withstand Bola Tinubu politically, and Atiku Abubakar is one of them. So we don't want to gamble. I would also like to contest for president. I would also like to say, but the truth is, the clout, the name, the recognition, the structure, only few people have it in this country. So it's not just, you don't start that kind of gamble at the presidential level, okay? Young people, House of Reps, young people, Senate, this is well encouraged. And it doesn't necessarily have to be someone who's young. So he's 79 today by election. It'll be 81. The best thing about that age factor for me is that I know politicians who have been 60 for the past 15 years. They've been 60 years old, Football age is what many politicians are using today. Atiku Abubakar declares his age, and everyone can see that, he is even fitter.
When you say that football age, what do you mean by football age is what politicians are using today? And who are the politicians that are using football age?
I know a politician who has been 60 years since 2015. He has been 60
Maybe he was born in a leap year.
Who's that?
Well, that's a point to make. Maybe that is the case. Okay, but I'm happy that Atiku Abubakar is proud of his age, and it's an inspiration for me again, a very huge inspiration that at his age he is still insisting on leading the opposition coalition, rallying the opposition. I mean, that's commendable.
All right. We'll go on a quick break. When we come back, there's a major question to ask. I mean, there are major questions. One of it would be that now that he's ported, let's use the word port for want of understanding for our local parlants, he's moved to the ADC. there are members in the ADC already who are saying that they're all going to contest for the presidency or the president's seat. We'll find out when we come back. We'll talk about that some more. Stay with us. Yeah. Welcome back. So, right before the break, we were looking at the move of former Vice-President Atiku Abubakar, Atiku Abubakar, to the ADC, and what this definitely means for the party, what it means for him, and most importantly, what it also means for the Nigerian political landscape. We're looking at this very clearly as we speak with a special political assistant to the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Demola Olarinwaju is still here with us. All right, Demola, my question would be that the ADC seems to be populated already. You do have a lot of political juggernauts who are looking to win the primaries and are looking to go for the president's seat. How certain is Atiku Abubakar that he will also be part of those who will be vying for that seat? Or is he going to play a different role? Maybe he's just going to play a supportive role, just stay behind and support whoever comes forth and ensures that the person gets his full support and then wins the race? Or is he going to just take off his clothes, wear his boots, lace up, and then join the race?
I think that the permutation is very simple. The idea behind this opposition coalition is based on the results of the last election. His Excellency Atiku Abubakar and His Excellency Peter Obi combined, they had more votes than Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who's now the president. Bola Ahmed Tinubu had 36.6% of the votes. That's a clear minority. So he won a plurality, but he did not win the majority, which is above 50%. If it had been in a parliamentary system, there would have been a rerun, because that falls below half of the country. So if, as at that time, more than half of the country did not want him to be president, I think with his performance, it has also decreased. And so the thinking now is that if you have Atiku Abubakar and you have His Excellency Peter Obi also in the same political party, pulling in the same direction for the same purpose, that things will turn out differently for Nigerians. So I believe very strongly that Atiku Abubakar is very crucial to the success of the opposition. Again, he came second, he came closest to, and remember, this was an election where the air was rife with, ethnic, agenda, religious agenda. People didn't want another Fulani, and still he managed to come second, winning 12 states. So I think that, it's very crucial that he is a part of that race. Whether he gets the ticket or not, I think that's dependent on the political party, but I think that that will be the strongest ticket for the ADC and for the opposition for the good of all Nigerians, Joe.
Now, Demola, the last time a political party managed to defeat an incumbent in Nigeria, there was some sort of coalition or alliance. No, it was actually a merger, to be specific, the CPC and the ACN back then. Looking at the fact that you're going against an astute politician and a government that has been in power for quite some time now, is the ADC open to mergers, coalitions, or alliances as we inch towards the 2027 presidential race?
Oh, yes. So we think that presently the political parties in Nigeria are not as strong as they should be institutionally. And that's because, the APC has been using, below the belt tactics, to destabilize those political parties. We saw what happened in the PDP. We saw what happened in the Labour Party. We see these things continue to happen, okay? And so ADC has been carved out now as the platform made clear. The mergers that will happen, or the coalitions that will happen, will be working with political parties in different ways. So in a party like PDP, for example, those who want to play opposition, those who want to be the opposition, will support the ADC in elections. Those who want to support Bola Tinubu, like, those who are there, some of them who want to support Bola Tinubu, can, do so. So what we would have is that we'll be open to those kind of coalitions, we'll be open to those kind of mergers, we'll be open to those kind of supports, those kind of collaborations. politically. I think, it's going to be both horizontal and vertical. It's going to be always, because the last election, you had people within the PDP who were working against the PDP. Okay, so this time around, you're going to have people who might be members of XYZ party but supporting the ADC, even from the APC itself, because I'm sure that, Atiku Abubakar becomes president, or if the ADC wins power, even members of APC would also benefit. So I think that, we would have those mergers, we'll have those coalitions. And I'm particularly pleased with the statement that came from the new PDP chairman, despite the whole tussle, Kabiru Tani Muturaki. He said that the PDP, with him as the chairman, is open to an opposition coalition. I think that's a very good step. In fact, our camp commended that, we commended that bold statement coming from him, and it's very, very well encouraged.
You speak about the possibility of, maybe not an outright possibility, but the kind of influence that an Atiku and a Peter Obi merger coming together would yield. And you speak about them have been able to pull more votes together than the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Is there any possibility or official confirmation of this coming to light? And we haven't seen an official statement from His Excellency Peter Obi, but is that a possibility we should foresee in the nearest future?
Well, it's a desire. I would say it's a desire. It's something that I would like to see happen. It's also a possibility. In politics, nothing can be ruled out. I think that, if such a thing would happen, it would have to come on a platform of respect. His Excellency Peter Obi commands a certain number of votes in Nigeria. That's 6.1 million votes wherever he is. That's 6.1 million votes. He commands the respect of so many young people also. So if there is an alliance, or if there's a joint ticket idea coming, I think it would have to be a sort of two presidents in one kind of deal where, he's not just the vice president, but he's also someone who's influential in the government. So I think there are various ways that this can be explored. Nothing is official, but I'm saying that, those of us who are patriots and also the people who started this whole idea of the ADC, because these coalition discussions were going on well over a year before the coalition presented itself publicly. Okay, well over a year, things had been sorted out, discussions have gone. So I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the day, we have it go in that direction. Because like I said, the math is very simple. 6.1 million votes Peter Obi, 6.9 million votes Atiku Abubakar. It was far more than the votes that Bola Ahmed Tinubu got. So if the opposition had voted in one direction, Bola Tinubu would not be president today. So I think it's to avoid that situation of division of opposition votes for the good of Nigerians. That's why this happens. And so if the two of them come together, I will be pleased. I will definitely be voting for that ticket.
Okay.
You said it's a wish, and wishes and dreams do come true. After all, just 1 hour ago, His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi wished Atiku Abubakar a happy birthday. And he said, "My very dear elder brother, boss, and elder statesman." So, if Atiku Abubakar wants to make a birthday wish, he can just use today to ask him.
You're very dry.
I think those conversations will happen between them, and I think to be for the good of all Nigerians. But like I said, it has to be clear that it's going to be a two presidents in one package for the benefit of all Nigerians.
Okay, all right. It's been a very interesting conversation, one that we know will unfold and also bring out more interesting facts in the course of the months to come, especially as we build up to 2026, because for other political parties, I'm saying 2026. Okay. I'm personally saying 2026, not 27, because like I'm about to mention, for other political parties, there is 2026 where they have to plan. But like many have said, for the current incumbent, it seems like there's no 2026. It's just straight to 2027. But then again, your final thoughts, Demola, as we wrap up, because we have our next guest who's in the waiting room. What's your thought about the method and the ways in which Nigeria's current insecurity situation has affected, especially His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar? We've seen him speak out. He's very vocal, talking about the insecurity level. What do you think his thoughts truly are?
So Atiku Abubakar is very concerned, deeply concerned. This is something that, we discussed. This is something that he told me about, that look, if he was president, there are certain actions he would have taken. There are certain ways that the military should push against the bandits. So it's very, very disturbing. I think that, the incumbent president needs to be more caring about Nigerians. This is the president. We had the service chiefs. There was insecurity all over the country. The president refused to sack the service chiefs. But the moment there was the rumor of a coup, he sacked those service chiefs and replaced them. So I think, he needs to be more proactive. He needs to be more caring about Nigeria, about, these people. And then he needs to decide. He needs to decide that banditry, insecurity, terrorism has no place in Nigeria. So I think, a different president would make a huge difference for insecurity in Nigeria.
Well, we can't say for certain that it was as a result of rumors of a coup, particularly because the response is that they served their time. They're supposed to serve for 2 years, and after 2 years, their time is up. So we can't categorically traffic in word from the grapevine.
We had those rumors, and those rumors persisted, and people continue talking about people arrested, people invited for questioning, and so on and so forth. And then the service chiefs were removed. But people have been calling for a change of security architecture ever since this president came in. He refused to do that. Again, it also seems to be a pattern. This is a president who pushed all the way to the Supreme Court for the devolution of powers to the LG. Everybody's LGA level. Everyone started celebrating. LGAs are now, going to be stronger Supreme Court judgments. The next thing you know, he was using that same power, that same judgment to negotiate with governors to leverage them into APC. What you hear is, the governors now have more money, join APC. The governors now have more allocation. Now the LGAs are totally captured. So I think, he needs to think less about himself, less about his ambition, less about his aspiration, and focus more on service delivery for Nigeria. That's the best politics that he can play, not poaching governors from PDP from anywhere.
Thank you so much for your time and insights, Demola Olarinwaju. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you.
And all the best with the celebrations today.
All right. Okay.
Nigeria operates a fragmented intelligence architecture with multiple agencies. A history of weak coordination, a structural problem that many say undermines counterinsurgency efforts and operational effectiveness. At the same time, the grassroots actors, vigilante groups, have become de facto intelligence sources in many communities, filling gaps left by formal agencies, but raising questions about oversight and reliability.
Well, these dynamics shape not only tactical outcomes, but also public trust and long-term stability. From Boko Haram and banditry to kidnappings, Nigeria's security threats are diverse and adaptive. Yet, time and again, we see attacks that appear preventable. Now, this morning, we'll examine whether the problem is the intelligence we collect, how we share it, or whether anyone acts on it. You do recall this situation in Kogi State where the governor had said that he wants to know who gave the order because the military was said to be present, but all of a sudden, as soon as they left, the attack came. Well, joining us for this discussion, we have security intelligence and investigation expert, Dr. Yahuza Gesto. Thank you so much, Dr. Gesto, for joining us this morning on Breakfast Central.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you, our listeners and viewers. Thank you for having me.
Good. Dr. Gesto, you've been in, and we could say you do understand a certain degree of the security architecture, especially that which has got to do with Nigeria's security and that of the insurgency. Can you share with us what really is the situation that we find ourselves currently? Is it a case of data sharing? Is it a case of ineffective action, especially when it comes to intelligence or information being passed to the security operatives? Can you share with us what is the problem? What's the gap? Why is it that we cannot nip these insecurity challenges in the bud?
Well, there are 7 outlined reasons which we need to look into, we need to examine. One, the system itself, the security architecture system itself, the way the system is rolling, something is really wrong. Secondly, there are saboteurs all over. There are internal saboteurs, there are external saboteurs, and there are also saboteurs within, and there are saboteurs at the back of the kitchen, within the room. And number 3,
there is total and absolute negligence from all the security agencies, the elites, and the government itself. Not only on banditry or kidnappings or the activities of the criminals in the northwestern part of the country or the northeast central part of the country, including that of northeastern part of the country and south and southeast. And number 4, there are issues with the policy. The policy for fighting insurgency in Nigeria is not really composed very well. It's not really communicating between the country. Sorry, the breeze was trying to take my tripod. Yeah, between the country and the people or the issues around. And number 5, compromise. There are a lot of compromises which we are not working towards addressing. And we refused intentionally, that is number 6, refusal by the government, intentionally to hold people accountable and responsible for the assignments being given to them in order to handle those found wanting responsible accordingly and deal with them to serve as a deterrent. Complicit. There are a lot of complicit whereby people and the government and even the agencies themselves. And number 7, the community themselves. Yes, of course, our communities are very proactive because I have been in this job since the year 2001, and I have been to all parts of Africa and the Asian countries. I have been to 48 countries for this job. And I believe I have been doing the risky, the highest, the most difficult, and the most terrible part of it. That is looking and searching for the crimes and criminals at the difficult terrain and hard to reach communities, and also looking at the hardened criminals in all the Asian countries and African countries. In the 48 countries I have been since the year 2001 to date, I believe that what Nigeria have as an issue of insecurity, especially that of northern Nigeria, the north central, the northeast, and the northwest, as well as what we have in the south, and southeast, is something we can manage. Because the communities are very proactive in providing information as at when due. And I do receive this information 247. 247, every 30 minutes, every 10 minutes, every 5 minutes, I do have information on crimes and criminal activities. And I have a separate network in 774 local governments of Nigeria where I do generate information from the macro level, from the polling unit sometimes even from the lower level of the settlement within the polling unit. From the political what?
Yeah.
From the local government, the federal constituency, and the state assembly constituency, or the senatorial constituency. And as God will have it, I have very good relationship. I have been having very good relationship, even though there are sometimes that the relationship was not really good between myself and the security agencies. Not really the security agencies, but if the security, perhaps the security hates that we have had since those years. Of course, I have suffered a lot of intimidations and so on and so forth. But however, I was never discouraged. I keep generating this information, and on hourly basis and on minutes and seconds and 30 minutes basis and days, as I got this information, I normally push it to the relevant authorities. Be it related to NDLA, be it related to Nigerian Army, be it related to Nigerian Air Force, be it related to the marine operations, be it related to the police affairs, be it related to the DSS basic activities or basic things that we're supposed to know and work on, be it related to the National Intelligence Agency, be it related to something that I should convey to the Office of the National Security Advisor, be it related to something that I should convey and inform the Defense Intelligence Agency or the Director of Military Intelligence, and so on and so forth. To all heads of security, at the local governments, at the states,
if I may comment, Dr.
information that the zonal offices and the governor are supposed to know. I do share this information, and I'm always on air through local and international media, discussing what I have been sending to them.
Thank you for giving us a background to the work you've done and the level of intelligence you get. And I believe the Defense Intelligence Agency, the National Security Advisor, the service chiefs, and our gallant men and women in the front lines also have access to some of this information. But having said that, Nigerians watching are saying that, because you also said our problems are not insurmountable. They are surmountable. We can deal with them. We've seen, why are we then seeing repeated failures to prevent attacks? What we often get is reactionary, even in areas with heavy military presence. Is this a failure of intelligence or failure to act on intelligence? Why are we seeing this?
It's just 3 reasons. Failure to act on intelligence, and the failure to hold people accountable on the responsibilities and authorities given to them, and also the community themselves, who have not been helping the situation. Because sometimes there are a lot of hypocrites around them, and also the issue of corruption. These are just the reasons. Corruption, system failure, and the issues of inability of the system to hold people accountable, those who have been given the responsibility and authority on certain things. And we keep promoting our officers, both men and officers of all the security agencies, without holding them accountable and responsible for the number of people being killed under their watch. Take the case of KB, for example. I have said it, and the governor affirmed it. I provided information 12 hours and follow up 6 hours and follow up on it. Almost 4 hours to the attack. And even during the attack, I have been trying to call someone, even though the person did not pick the call, and he didn't respond to me. Why were you calling me at that odd hour? Up to now that I'm talking to you. And they know. They know who is Dr. Ihuzageto. They know what Dr. Ihuzageto used to talk to them, used to send to them. I don't have any iota of relationship of asking anybody to give me money or to give me anything. If I call you for Nigeria. And Nigeria is my country. I have job offers in the foreign land of Israel and the US. That is very expensive material. But I refuse to go. I stay in Nigeria, I believe in Nigeria, and I believe Nigeria is my country, and I will do everything possible to ensure that Nigeria is safe. And my own is a responsibility, I don't have the authority.
Okay, Dr. Getzer.
So when those information was shared, the governor called for an emergency meeting as he mentioned, and after the emergency meeting, an agreement was reached, a team to be sent. And as far as security is concerned, when you are commanded to go into an institution or to go into a place, to secure the place, you don't have the capacity, the audacity, and the authority to leave that place until and unless you are commanded. So the question is, who command the team to go there? Who is the commanding officer? And who asks the commanding officer to leave the place? And why the attack come barely 42 minutes after they left the school? And members of the community also send a distress call to the relevant authorities. And I want to tell you that the area within the range of where the criminals conducted their activity, more than 120 kilometers is not really motorable easily, that you can easily cross within a short period of time. Who is managing our airspace management? Where are all the security formations, all the military formations, all the other brackets, checkpoints that we have within that radius of Donko-Osogu, Zuru, Gumi local government, Maru local government, Anka local government, Bukuim local government, Fakai local government, Sakaba local government, Ngaski local government, Rijau local government, Yauri local government, Nansaro Emirate of Mara local government, Mashogu local government, as well as Mariga local government, and the axis of Emirates of Zuru Emirate, Yauri Emirate, Kwantagora Emirate, and that of Nansaro Emirate. Those are not really areas that are easily accessible because they are not really motorable easily. So how comes they were able to cut away, to shoot sporadically, kill the vice principal, cut away number of 226 children, even though 2 escaped? How were they able to move with those children without noise? Where are all the security formations around this emirate that comprises to have more than 12 local governments, as I mentioned? And they have more than almost 200 political wards, almost 500 polling units, settlements. How do they cross? How do they move? Who is manning our airspace? What happens with the communication? So it means there are absolute negligence. And the government seems to be not really responsible.
Right.
We must have a responsible government. We must have a serious government. And up till now, we have not had, and Nigerians have not been provided with a feedback on who really commanded the team of security, or joint security, or a function of the security to go and man the school. Who was the commanding officer? Who gave him the command to go? Who gave him the command to leave? And after he left the school with his team, where do they move to? And what happens? And how comes? 42 minutes, barely 42 minutes after the school was attacked.
All right.
What environment are we? What irresponsible environment are we operating?
Right.
It is now more than almost six days. We have not had any arrest apprehending, no feedback to Nigerians from the government. Government just keep talking, and government became confused and start shutting down the schools, which is a very, very wrong action. Very, very wrong indeed. But I know, and we Nigerians now should understand that the children of those who are making the policy in Nigeria are not directly affected with the situation in the country. They don't even know, they don't even understand the magnitude of the security and the challenges that we have. And they refuse to open their ears and eyes to listen. I started reporting presence of AK-47 in the wrong hands. In those areas of Kebbi, Zamfara, and Niger, I started reporting since the year 2006, 2005. Nothing happened.
All right, Doctor.
The documents are there.
Dr. Getto.
They should endorse their archive. They will see my submissions. So they allow this thing to escalate.
All right, Dr. Getto.
Because it doesn't affect them, they started shutting down schools.
Dr. Getto, I mean, you've made very
the capacity to fight.
You've made very, very strong points and allegations here as well. But I mean, we look forward to speak. Yesterday, we did speak with a retired general here on the program, who also highlighted the strides that the military is indeed putting forth to ensure that they conquer this insecurity. But you've also made some very, very strong points. But we look forward to get back to this conversation next time when we come again. I want to say thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to have you again. Hopefully, we would wait to hear from the federal government if they can secure the release of those who have been kidnapped, the other ones. But thank you for your time. Thank you so much for your time.
So thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure. Have a pleasant time.
All right. Okay. Coming up next here on Breakfast Central after that conversation, we'll come with the breakfast headlines. Stay with us. Welcome back. Let's start off in Kwara State, where a fresh bandit attack was reported in Isakwa community, Ekiti local government area on Monday evening. The assailants reportedly intended to abduct residents, but local vigilantes on standby successfully repelled the attack. Reports indicate a fierce exchange of gunfire between the bandits and vigilantes. The community sent an urgent SOS to the state government, prompting soldiers stationed in nearby Iruku to rush to their aid. Authorities say there were no casualties among the vigilantes, as the gunfire did not penetrate their defenses and the attackers were forced to retreat. Isakwa lies just 5 kilometers from Iruku, where last week a church attack left 3 dead and 38 people kidnapped. Away from that story, Amnesty International Nigeria is raising a fresh alarm, warning that the surge in mass kidnappings targeting schools could seriously undermine education in northern Nigeria. Country Director Isa Sanusi says the psychological trauma caused by abductions and even the fear of being attacked is keeping many children away from the classroom. He explains that the rising wave of insecurity is forcing parents to question whether it is still safe to send their children to school as incidents continue to climb. Sanusi adds that families in rural areas already battling economic hardship now face an even bigger struggle to keep their children enrolled, with the worst insecurity situation pushing many out of school entirely. Meanwhile, governors of Nigeria's southwest region met in Ibadan on Monday, resolving on new measures to strengthen security and regional development. The Southwest Governors Forum, comprising the governors of Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Osun, Ekiti, and Ondo states, praised President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for ongoing economic reforms and recent rescue efforts in Kwara and Niger states following multiple kidnapping incidents. The forum announced the creation of a Southwest Security Fund and a real-time intelligence sharing platform linking all 6 states. They also called for enhanced forest surveillance and urged the federal government to deploy forest guards to curb criminal hideouts. The governors raised concerns over illegal mining and unregulated interstate migration, reaffirming strong support for the establishment of state police. They also commended regional farmers for improved food output and urged citizens to remain united and peaceful. The Southeast Caucus of the House of Representatives has called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to grant a presidential pardon to the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, who was recently sentenced to life imprisonment. Members of the caucus who spoke to newsmen after a brief meeting to review the recent Federal High Court judgment on Kanu and its implications for the peace and security of the Southeast say that his imprisonment has contributed to tension in the region and that a presidential pardon will bring calm. They say the president should consider the request as an investment in Nigeria's peace and also pledge their commitment to working with the federal government to advance national unity.
Deliberation, the caucus resolved to humbly appeal to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, to consider a political and humanitarian intervention using the constitutional powers granted under Section 175 of the 1999 Constitution to grant pardon to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Our appeal is grounded on the following considerations. 1. We believe that the continued detention of Mazi Kanu has contributed significantly to tension and agitation in the Southeast. Despite numerous calls for calm, the atmosphere remains strained.
The United Kingdom government has rejected Nigeria's request to transfer former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu to serve the remainder of his prison sentence in Nigeria. Ekweremadu is currently serving a 9-year, 8-month sentence in the UK for conspiring to traffic a young man's kidney, a March 2020 conviction. His wife, Beatrice Ekweremadu, was also convicted for a role in the case, serving half of her sentence in custody and the remainder on license. She completed a custodial part of her sentence and was released, returning to Nigeria in January 2025. Earlier, President Tinubu sent a delegation led by the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Justice to London to discuss the case and explore the possibility of its transfer. However, the UK Ministry of Justice declined the request, citing concerns that Nigeria could not guarantee the continuation of the prison term after deportation. And that's all the news for you for this hour here on Breakfast Central. Breakfast headlines. Don't forget to join us at 12 to get a more, and we could say, fuller news bulletin with the 12 reports. So do stay here with us. Breakfast Central continues. The front pages of the newspapers will be up next, where you can call in and, of course, share your thoughts. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hello, welcome back to Breakfast Central. It's now time for the newspaper review. But as a gentleman, I'll yield the floor.
I had a feeling you were perhaps going to say breakfast extra, because when you took a pause, I'm like, have you perhaps forgotten the name of your show?
No, it's Breakfast Central.
Breakfast Central.
I was just trying to ensure that, as a gentleman, a complete gentleman.
Yeah. So I've yielded the floor to you now.
Thank you very much,
What do you
Honorable.
plan to do with the floor?
So, you see this floor that I have yielded to me. Now,
please, let's go straight.
Let me not show you what's happening behind the scenes. Let's not bring behind the scenes behavior on TV. Let's begin with the Punch newspaper this morning. On the front page of the Punch, kidnapping crisis. Governors convene emergency session. School lockdowns rise. 19 northern governors to meet. Southwest plans forest surveillance. Unions fought lockdowns. Tinubu rejects mercenaries. UK reject Nigeria's request to repatriate Ekweremadu. Osun 2026 at delegation set to announce re-election platform. Inflation. MPC may cut interest rates again today. Police tighten security in Lagos schools and worship centers. Constitution review moves to 36 state assemblies. Wike Turaki's camps differ on PDP secretariat reopening. Strike. ASU, NEC to review federal government's final terms on Wednesday. NSA launches 2025 to 2030 counter-terror plan. We don't even have that long window of 2025 to 2030. 2025, November to December counter-terror plan is what we're looking for now. Something very, very urgent because we're in a very dire state.
How many people will be alive?
By 2030.
If we don't do something about it now, it's a clear and present danger.
Very clear, immediate danger. 2027 presidency, Atiku's ADC registration sparks storm. We'll be looking at the papers and sharing our thoughts on them, but you also can be a part of the conversation. We want you to join us in analyzing the newspapers, and the way you do it is by calling the number that will be scrolling on your TV screen, and if any of the stories speak to you or you have thoughts about any of these stories, call us and let's hear your thoughts because your voice matters. And your voice counts here on Breakfast Central. You can also go live on YouTube. We're streaming. Search for News Central TV Live and drop a comment in the live chat to be a part of the conversation as we'll be taking comments from the chat box. But I'll start with police tighten security in Lagos schools and worship centers. And what this reveals, gentlemen, is an ever-present danger. When we talk about the challenge with insecurity, we can no longer, again, like I would say, apply the ostrich in the sand approach. Everything that is happening in the north is happening in the middle belt. It won't get down here. When it affects one, it affects all of us. The schools in several parts of the country have been shut down as a result of the insecurity, as a result of the fact that students are now soft targets. They are attacking schools. They're picking up these children, killing some of their teachers and abducting them as well. And being proactive would mean ensuring that we don't wait until there's a kidnap
but
carried
a
out
couple of
in
people
Lagos.
disagree vehemently with the government's move. Like our last guest, Dr. Getso, he said it's playing into the hands of the criminal elements because that's what they want, and they seem to be controlling the narrative. So instead of taking the fight to them, it shows that you lack the confidence and the will to deal with them. That's why you have decided to close down schools. And many people have interpreted it as taking the cowardly option here because you're disrupting their academic calendar and you're also bowing to the so-called whims and caprices of these bandits because that's what they want. They say Boko Haram, Western education, books forgiven, and you know what better institution represents that than school. So they will be looking at it like they scored a decisive victory in that sense because they forced the government to shut down schools. But on the flip side of it, who would allow their children to be used as
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for asking that. I was going to ask that as well.
Do you have so much?
Because if I was in the north...
if his children in those unity schools, would he sleep with his two eyes open, knowing the security breaches that we've seen that has allowed criminal elements to go inside the schools and kidnap children? He wouldn't.
I think another fear for me, especially for many Nigerians who have been talking and have been very vocal, is the fact that this has started to eat deep into the society and it's starting to affect all aspects of the society, especially life. Take, for instance, I don't know if you recall that saying, first of all, they came for this, nobody said anything. They came for that, nobody, until they came, that very popular saying.
And it's now in Kwara State.
Now, guess what? We can't wait. We had mentioned that we're going to look at the map. Hopefully, we'll do that. We'll still have time as we look at the papers. One of the key things is, if they've come for the schools, and then there's some form of the school cowers, the educational system suffers a setback. You recall just over the weekend we had mentioned that while the governors of these states were saying that they're going to close the schools, the Minister of Education was saying, no, we're not going to close these schools. The ministry is not closing the schools. What we saw there was an internal rift, a subtle rift between the Ministry of Education and the governors. But this was being hinged on lives. And the governors decided to say, listen, you are a ministry. We're not just going to obey by your rules or your decisions or directions. We're going to put lives first. And that's why you had a few governors who did not waste any more time, from Niger State Governor, name it. They decided to take the bull by the horn, make strong announcements and said schools shut down. Now, have the terrorists achieved that in ensuring that the schools are shut as a result of their actions and their attacks? Yes. Where would they go next? That's another thing I believe the security operatives and the intelligence will look into. Because from schools, SBM Intelligence has also did a clear insight into how these attacks have been able to build up. So from schools, where next? Will it be homes? Are you going to shut down people's homes when they start going to people's homes? Already they are doing that. Take note, they are doing that.
I mean, they're raiding entire community.
In Kwara State yesterday, we saw what happened in the evening. I just read that in the news as well, where they were able to repel the attack of some people who wanted to come kidnap people from their homes and take them. And they said it's not far away from Iruku, where they had kidnapped people from the church.
It was actually the soldiers that were stationed in
Iruku that had to come down to join the vigilantes to ensure that they repel. So my question is, they joined the vigilantes, they were able to repel the attacks. These terrorists, in quotes, decided to flee back into the bush. Was that a good time to have been able to follow through and, find out where they are? Well, that's left for the security operatives. But the point is, if we take note, it is starting to trickle down. What started as a form of just attacking a certain, I would say, area or state, just one particular state. You remember northern Kaduna and so on and so forth. You attack this. Now it's starting to spread.
And that's what led you to say, that saying that they came for this people within.
Exactly. Nobody said anything.
It snowballed into this monster that we're dealing with. And Obafemi Awolowo said something back then, that if you fail to educate the children of the poor, they will be the terrorists and the bandits of the future.
They will eat you.
And everything has come full circle, because we have to go back to education and poverty. These are the social issues, the fundamental social issues that would let a sane person find joining a violence extremist group attractive. And also some of the preachings and the lessons they learn in this extremist scholars and religious speakers, the extreme version of it. If you look at Egypt, just look at the map of Egypt, for example. They're surrounded by countries in serious crisis. You have Libya, you have Sudan, and they've managed to effectively govern their country with very little issues of insecurity.
Absolutely.
That's because preachers are registered, they have a military that is on top of the situation, and they've dealt decisively with extremist groups. And if one raises his head, the way the full force of the government comes down on them, that's what we should have done. We made a mistake, and Dr. Getso did highlight it with this rehabilitation. I mean, you don't rehabilitate people that have committed murder and killed people in numbers, in high numbers. This is not financial crime or
where you can
drugs,
take a geek, a tech guru, and say, "Come rehabilitate." You're going
killers, cold-blooded killers, and then you say you rehabilitate. That was the biggest mistake, and we're paying for it.
We are really paying for it.
The punch Olive also took. NSA launches 2025-2030 counter-terrorism plan. I mean, Olive had also highlighted here, just to mention, you had said, so 2025 to 2030, Nigerians have to wait for 5 years before the counter-terrorism plan will kick into effect. It's a plan, and that's by the National Security Advisor. So
from 2025,
and then they would adjust it. During the launch yesterday, the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, had said that this is a good plan because insecurity and terrorism is affecting all aspects of lives, especially for every Nigerian who are faced with these terrorists. But then again, this plan, how long will it take? Bear in mind, the biggest question everyone is asking is, before this current administration, it was the same political party that was in power for 8 years. Okay? So for 8 years, the same APC was in power. Are we going to say that the counter-terrorism plan, there was no counter-terrorism plan for that year? Many would disagree and say there was. So was there a consistent follow-up of that plan? And how far did that plan go? I think there should be a form of retrospect to see how far we've come and where we've gone
counter-terrorism plan, how long in the making was it? Is it a knee-jerk reaction just to show that you're doing something?
That should, because we're just seeing all these things are coming up.
Does he have the buy-in of the other service chiefs? Is he coordinated with all the security agencies? These are questions we need to know, because how come all of a sudden you have a counter-terrorism? I hope it wasn't written by ChatGPT, because these days you have to question everything.
Because 2025 to 2030, and this was not highlighted prior to when the statement was made by the United States President. But then again...
Meanwhile, while we're here fighting and talking about insecurity and speaking about the fact that a number of our Nigerians, our brothers and sisters have been kidnapped, some killed, there isn't, we can't totally say that there is safety. At the top left corner of the punch, you can see Wiki and Turaki's camp differ on PDP Secretariat reopening. So, National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Ini Emomo Bong, has assured stakeholders that the party's National Secretariat, currently sealed by the Nigerian Police Force, will reopen for normal operations in the coming weeks. Wadata Plaza, which houses the PDP's national headquarters, was sealed after clashes between two rival blocs, each claiming authentic leadership.
I hope when it reopens, we won't see the shame of shame that we witnessed the other day. And will it be reopened for all factions?
No, but that's what we're saying now. A member of the UK camp, Umar Bature, recently expelled from the party, dismissed talk of an imminent reopening. Bature was the national organizing secretary until his expulsion and said he was not aware of such.
I think they need to apply the wisdom of King Solomon here.
Divide it into two.
Divide it into two. Some will take the whole area, others will take the toilet area. And you said they should divide it, that means you are
the real one.
That means you don't really love Wadata Plaza.
And goodness, this is troubling. And it's quite sad.
I mean, it's not a laughing matter. It's the biggest opposition party that held sway for 16 uninterrupted years.
But when you ask them what's going on, the number of them will blame the ruling All Progressives Congress, saying that they planted moves.
Status. Less than 2 years to a general election. It's quite painful to watch. And the conduct of these so-called leaders and your excellencies.
I can state here that it won't open. I don't think they're going to open it.
The PDP's woes doesn't seem to be, they seem to be far from
we don't
over.
seem to acknowledge the counter-expulsion. Because even the Mr. Enobong that you mentioned as the publicity secretary, he's been expelled by the Anyang.
So who do you listen to? So for journalists now, what do you use? Expelled, embattled.
He's making life difficult for journalists. Even journalists right now, I'm looking up to God.
I said this some time ago. I said even journalists now are finding it very tough when you see these stories. You're like, where do we go to? Because sometimes, I mean, we've had some guests join us on this program. When we're interviewing them, or after the interview, they tell us, no, that's not my designation. Yes. And we tell you, listen, we go to the INEC portal. What is written on the INEC portal is what we follow. If you go to the INEC portal now, PDP, and check, you'll find out that they've upheld, they've seen the newly formed members of the
They recognize the convention.
They recognize the convention. They said, okay, they've recognized it. Whereas the factional party, of course, led by the FCT minister, is saying, that is INEC. There's court. So you're wondering, does INEC even have power?
When is the court going to decide, the Court of Appeal, so that it can put this matter to rest and move on with our lives?
I think we can move on with our lives.
No, we need the courts.
and just ignore. It's sad that the courts have not addressed this issue up until now. Strike. ASU NEC to review federal government's final terms on Wednesday. There's so much to talk about.
I mean, the government is juggling a lot. I mean, that's why it's the government. They have. It's not a talk. Don't feel. And the president said, "Don't feel sorry for me."
Where's the crown?
So why President while campaigning said,
because the president will be going through a lot right now. There's a lot to do.
I don't understand why
there's a designation of duties.
I don't understand.
There's a lot.
There's NAD and ASU.
Yes.
NAD is on his own.
It's not.
ASU is on its own. I remember that the president during his campaign had said that there will never be strike during his time. Strike will not happen. He said they should mark it. He said that.
Okay. I'm not really aware of that.
Yeah, they're threats. No, I remember that video so well. During the campaign, he said no strikes, nothing. It will not happen. The children must, go to school and so on. See, how did he say? I think he said 5 years must be 5 years or something. If we put it.
Yes.
But now
the academic.
Yes, the academic. But now, here you have it. NAD is raging. Still, we've not gotten an update.
They're in their 20-some. If I'm not mistaken, it should be about 24th day of the strike.
Yeah.
The resident doctors.
And they're not yet looking like they're going back. Anyway, let's quickly go to another paper and see what the front page of the Nigerian Tribune.
No. Sorry, please. I beg your pardon. There's a very big story
Your
here.
pardon begged.
2026.
Yes, that's important.
To announce re-election platform. He's a PDP governor. What does it mean he's set to announce a re-election platform? Is it not automatic that the party that brought you to office in the first place is the same party?
Let's take this call. So that
I can't take you as a date to a party and then you follow another man home.
No, you are carry come.
I don't know about that. Uche calls us. Uche, good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning,
Uche.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
For me, it is a high time we should stop referring these people Your Excellency. What is excellency in them? Your Highness. Governor, progressive, governors, progressive and bandits are ravaging their state. People cannot go to school. They are still from schools. Tomorrow, you people call them, progressive. The governor, progressive governors. What is progressive? Please, you journalists, you people should be referring to them, Your Excellency. There is nothing excellency in these people. So-called governors. Look at the way the country is going. You people are calling them names. Maybe because of those names, that is why they have refused to put on their thinking cap. It is a high time. We should stop that. There is no excellency in them. Neither are they progressive. Nigeria is not making progress. God bless you people.
So that's
back to
question to you.
The honorific, Your Excellency. But Olive was going somewhere with a fantastic analysis on Ocean 2026, looking into the crystal ball. She also used the medium of music, Kiss Daniel's song, to drive home her point in saying that no be you I carry come, but that you I go carry go. You may kiss your bride. Please, can you finish your analysis?
Okay, let me go into the details of the story. A delegate to announce re-election platform. Former Osun State Governor Prince Olagunsoye Oyinlola says the decision on the political platform Governor Ademola Adeleke will use for his 2026 re-election bid will be taken immediately after the governor returns from foreign trip. Oyinlola, reacting to speculations about parties being considered by Adeleke, said accord remained a fair and viable option. However, added that whether he would direct with the governor depended entirely on the choice of the party, stressing that he would not follow Adeleke to any platform that conflicted with his convictions. He revealed he had earlier resisted pressure to join the APC, even when Adeleke was reportedly considering the party. When the governor comes back from this trip this week, we'll sit down and decide where we are going. And we'll let the Osun people know our choice, he said. At the end of the day, it's just a thing.
What do you think?
What political vehicle best suits my ambition? That is the way Nigerian politics
PDP right now. I mean, you feel for the governors that are still part of PDP, that are not second-term governors, because they need to think about their ambition. They want to return to power. You look at the Makinde, I mean, he's been there, done that. As a second-term governor, he hasn't learned to lose anymore. But people like Adeleke and Muchwang and the others, you begin to wonder where their political future lies. But let's take this call. from Titilayo in Abia State. Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Yes, we can.
Hello? Can you?
No, please go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Please, funny. Good morning, everyone. The major challenge here is that we fail to understand the gravity of what is coming to every one of us. Firstly, my question is this. We have a president, which we all regarded as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Let us know, are there some powerful entities that are bigger than the president? Because there are some few elements that have been indicted with this issue of terrorism, and the government and president and every cabal seems to be comfortable with those people. Why are we turning a deaf ear to the things that can give us a break light as far as this issue of terrorism is concerned? Recently, the present Minister of Defense, Matawale, has been indicted with somebody that is one of the top leaders of the terrorists. The present vice-president of this country, when, what's it called? This Shokoto, or what's it called? Escaped a prison break, who was found in the house of our present vice-president. And people are not calling all these people to action and let us know what is actually happening. If some people are even bigger than the president. Because my own understanding about this issue is that the set of people that are leading us in this country are the most terrible human being you can ever imagine. Imagine this approach of you waiting for terrorists to come and attack and you repel before you know the next line of action. What is our air forces are doing? Why can't we take these bad people, these bandits in the forest? Are these forests bigger than Nigeria, for crying out loud? Now, recently, they went to go and kidnap in church. After the church, they read the news that they released these people. They came to the neighboring village. Why is this hiding and seek, for crying out loud? When they come around, they retreat here. They should use that venue and follow them to wherever they are. But it's unfortunately the caliber of people that are managing our security. We don't even understand anything. Thank you very much.
I mean, the president has the force of the military and the security apparatus to deal decisively with this issue. And when you don't send a message, and he made very good reference to the Eruku kidnappings and the incident that happened yesterday, where the community managed to repel those who would be assailants with the help of the military. That is this hide and seek. Why don't you just deal with them decisively, neutralize them, or find a way of knowing their base so you put an end to this, because lives are at stake. And I can only imagine the community, the sort of tensions will be living in, knowing that at any point in time, this criminal elements could return. But we'll continue to do our part to speak about these issues, and hopefully the government will do something about it. And reports that was actually the local vigilante in that community that repelled these bandits.
Okay, let's take another paper. Let's now move to the Nigerian Tribune. On the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, again, insecurity is the big story. Southwest governors advocate enhanced forest surveillance. They want federal government to deploy forest guards across the region to set up regional security fund, intelligence sharing system, demand state police now. And that was something I was going to ask. Why not? We have been on this state police conversation. It's becoming exhausting. It feels like we do not really want state police. We're just going around in circles.
I mean, I have my reservations for state police.
What's your reservation for state police?
They've been abused. The Agony Chamber in Anambra State. Even Amotekun. We had an analyst the other day, I think it was on Friday, that said that there was an incident of, extrajudicial killings, suspected extrajudicial killings by men of Amotekun, that the governor had to come and, in peace meetings with the community. There's always, knowing the way we are not thorough with things, there will be room for abuse, and, they say power corrupts, absolute power corrupts, absolutely. You saw the vigilantes, the Agony Chamber, assaulting NYSC members. Yeah. What's the level of recruitment, training, understanding? We're already complaining about a formal Nigeria police force that its members go through a sort of rigorous training and there's education, a chain of command. Then imagine when you just give And looking at the way our society runs, anyone with a position feels or it gives you a level to oppress your next person. I don't think we should we should give the security agencies that we have all the material support. If they need to recruit more people, they should recruit.
Start with salary first.
And deal with the
I don't agree with you.
Because state policing will become a personal militia, and then they will end up like this bandits.
Benga, we haven't tried this yet to know if it will work. We can't then say that because there's a potential for abuse, we shouldn't explore something that could potentially help us get a step closer into getting better security infrastructure within our country.
Under whose command?
The state governors.
And the state governors have the propensity to use witch hunt opposition.
See, Benga, we haven't tried it. What we're doing is just saying, you know what? Let me tell you what you are doing. You're saying that a number of marriages lead to divorce. As a result of that, I will not get married. That's what you literally say.
But you see,
we don't have.
What's your position?
We don't have empirical evidence that it will.
But we have empirical evidence of the behavior of Nigeria's political class and our behavior, and using these vigilante groups as a case study. Because what's the difference between vigilante groups and state police?
What we should call
what's
for?
The difference between Agune Chamber?
What we should call for is an overhaul of Nigeria's police infrastructure. While that overhauling is happening, you can allocate people to states. Haven't you seen that even in communities, haven't you heard haven't you heard in communities where they steal your phone? You go and tell the leader of the community, he will tell you, don't worry. He will find out the person who stole the phone because there's a local intelligence. They know someone that knows someone that knows someone that can find the person that stole it. I'm all for, state policing, but maybe we should ask our audience. We have a call from Ogun State coming in. Good morning. Please go ahead with your call. I know, we'll come back. The person has been on the call for a while. Good morning, Kende. Thanks for calling. Please go ahead.
We apologize. Sorry, it was Olive's fault, Kende. Yes.
State police, go ahead.
Okay, so what I propose is deploy people that are from that region and that community in the current policing structure that we have.
That is still the state policing?
No, it's not state policing.
How?
With the federal structure. So I'm from Ogun State, for example, and the postings come out. They should post me to Ogun State, my local community.
It's still the state policing.
But there's still the formal chain of command. So the police commissioner and the police commissioner reports to the inspector general.
So the thing would be that the chain of command.
More equipment, more manpower, and then local police.
I'm just enjoying the conversation, guys. It's interesting. No, keep going.
It's like you've not seen the way Bubedike or those guys were abused from Amot.
Benga, those people are not trained police officers. A number of them are local vigilantes that have just been given power.
The state police.
Benga, these people are just local vigilantes that have been given power. What I'm saying is, I'm all for state policing. I'm all for overhauling of what we currently have. Let the ones that are there be trained. Let there be a filtration system where the bad eggs are sort of, swept away.
How do you sweep them away?
Well, the police within itself should know how to interrogate and do a sort of thorough checkup. Where if reports are being, we have a caller. We'll come back to continue this conversation. Good morning. Thank you for calling. Okay. Okay, we can't hear you.
Hello?
Yes.
Go ahead, please.
Are you hearing me now?
Please turn off your TV set or reduce the volume. Thank you.
All right.
We seem to be having difficulties connecting to Oge. And if we can finish this conversation on Breakfast Central, I don't even mind waiting behind. They should add 2 extra chairs to Jasiri and Business Edge to continue this conversation.
You're doing too much now.
The front page there shows that the Southwest governors have met. And that's what the Northern Forum has also expected the Northern leaders and governors to meet. So there you have them. They all met yesterday. The discussion was based on ensuring that they enhance forest surveillance They want federal government to deploy forest guards across the region. They also want to set up regional security fund, intelligence sharing system. They said they've set that up already, which, I mean, sounds very interesting. Demand state police now, that's another thing people are calling on, telling them that maybe they can have the state police in a regional format. Maybe the Southwest Police Force, where they can take care of all the Southwest. In that case, that's another good suggestion that I think I also would want to buy. In that way, the Southwestern governors can control and ensure that, okay, this is it. Then you also have the Northern, but then again, whatever is decided, that's a conversation that the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces and the National Assembly will have to sit and into before it is passed into law. But then again, they met yesterday. Let's see if we can put up the map of Nigeria. I've been wanting to have this conversation for a long while. So what you see here is the map of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So if we could just pause it right there, just to explain very clearly that the southwestern states is what you see there. You've got Oyo, you've got Osun, Ikiti, Ondo, Ogun, and not forgetting to Lagos as well. There's Kwara just lingering around that area too. The point here is we've seen insecurity, which started not far off from Borno State at the top right there in 2002, Maiduguri in particular, where Boko Haram had started from the top right there. How has it spread? We've seen it spread down into areas of Damaturu. It has come down to Bauchi. It has entered Kano, Kaduna. Now it has sunk deep into Plateau, Nasarawa, and Benue. Can we see the trajectory there? It's coming down around there. We're not going to also take off other states towards the left as well, because they've had a fair share of their own insecurity. But we're talking about a very calculated one, high intensive. They've come from the right down. And if you follow through from Benue, you find out that while the cases of insecurity bordering on ISWAP, not forgetting to the likes of Boko Haram, if you come down to the southeast has had its own fair share of insecurity as well. We're talking about the likes of Enugu, not forgetting to other states within that particular area, that region. But the point here is, from that right, we now have a different one that the southwest is equally facing towards the left. What does this tell us, Benga? That there has been a spread since 2002 up until now that is likely starting to engulf the entirety of a federal republic or a country, or what you like to call a state. In this case, 36 states, but of course, they are all bedeviled with the same instance of facing one challenge or the other, okay? So that's exactly what we've seen, neither here nor there. But then again, we'll try as much as possible to ensure that we give you more updates on this. But just to give you a clear eye,
and also to add, there's been reported
seen.
Incidents of banditry in Edo State, which is in the south-south, Kogi State, North Central, and also Kwara State, and some reported incidents in Ekiti and Oyo State. So almost all the 36 states, like Joseph, had incidents of insecurity. And
what does this mean for us?
It's an alarming level.
What does this mean for us? Just to highlight that, we're going to take time later on to look at that in the map. But what does this mean for us? That from 2002 up until 2025, it shows that rather than curb that hydra-headed insecurity monster or challenge, rather it spread like cancer. It's starting to come from right, where it started from, and it's starting to come down, even coming towards the southwest, and then of course possibly go back up to the other aspects or the other states as well. So it's a clarion call. It's a call for action. It's either something is done, or it will take over the entirety of the country, or you rather call it a state as well.
All right, final if we can squeeze it in as quickly as we can on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. Kebbi, Niger's schools adoptions. U.S. to share intel, demands action to speed up arms request presidency. 239 Nigerian primary pupils among 265 victims still missing in Niger, according to the Catholic Diocese. Choir church attack was a sudden, terrifying act. Survivor narrates ordeal. School abductions threaten northern Nigeria's children's future. Amnesty warns. UK rejects federal government's request for Ekweremadu to complete prison term in Nigeria. Atiku officially joins ADC, vows to end APC's misrule. To be honest, that official joining of ADC didn't come as a surprise. It felt like it was about time. Insecurity, it's time for state police, Southwest governors say. Oh, but then again, Mengaboro will argue otherwise. I'll come back to the final paper. No, before that, I won't take that last. CBN to slam 5-year ban on bank customers over dirt check. And final story.
CBN to do what?
Slam 5-year ban on bank customers.
Fake check.
Over dirt check.
5-year ban on... Do people still use check?
Yes, now. Yes. So.
I might write you a Christmas check.
Okay.
No,
our final story.
If it's not 100 minutes.
Withdrawal of escorts. Fear grips VIPs. Politicians, IJGBs, and all those who have access to police escorts as police plan modalities. This one is just scheme because we've not been learning about the withdrawal of
what could they use in the interim?
They've given them the alternatives. The NSCDC. The NSCDC we hear will be the next alternative.
Are they armed?
But yes, the armed NSCDC. They recently were allowed to carry firearms as well. But here is my point again. My point is this. Aren't we short-staffed, or isn't the security or the security chain in terms of the officers from the Army, the Navy, the police, the CDC, you name them, don't they need more men?
And maybe it's time. For example, in Uganda, you have private security providers.
That's what I was going
to. South Africa.
I was going there.
And they carry arms.
So what happens to the private security firms? This is where you call for private security. We have them already. We have them. They're on ground.
But they don't.
They just need to
tasers and
maybe register them all over again and ensure that the ones who have been registered, they've passed the security check. Can now be strict security check.
So NSCDC can still secure the lives of other Nigerians, because everybody is a VIP. What do you mean by some VIPs need to be protected? And,
but just
I do understand politically exposed people, but these days the VIP means you just have some.
Your celebrity is a VIP. It's bigger.
If you're not a VIP, I am a VIP.
Olive is a VIP.
I'm a VIP, but I don't have security. I depend on God.
Exactly. For some of us, we are VIPs, but we cover ourselves with the blood of Jesus.
On that note, to wrap up the show. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on this show.
Thank you so much for having us, Joe.
That's all on Breakfast Central on a Tuesday morning. Unfortunately, our guest couldn't make it here. He's been stuck in traffic, but we've had a very fantastic time analyzing some of the big stories on the front pages of the newspapers. And for those whose call we did not pick, we're so sorry. Do want to call again tomorrow. My name is Joe Hansen.
My name is Olive Emodi.
And I'm Benga Borough. Olive Emodi, I wish you a happy Christmas in advance.
Happy Easter, my friend.